What's up guys, welcome to my Kengan Omega chapter 113 review. As a whole, it featured some more Dongchen backstory with his best friend Naden, and the continuation of the fight. I guess Nitoki was tripping balls thinking he had already won like he said last chapter. Also, a new team from the Kengan Nashra subreddit was created to translate the future Kengan Omega chapters. So shout out to those mad lads. We also got the character profiles for Naden and Dongchen, so I'm going to begin today's review by covering those. Starting with Naden's character profile, we get his age, which is 26. For some reason I expected him to be older, maybe like 30, but yeah, 26, that's his age. Then the writer's commentary talks about how he's a powerful, soldier under the direct control of the worm, and that he traumatized Garuki during their fight, and that his main goal for that fight was to find out how strong Roki was at his current ability, and when he found out, he accepted his role in a straightforward manner. So I'm guessing his mission was to find out how strong, the connector, the Omega Garuki is, and once finding out that he is actually strong enough to have that role, I'm guessing his mission requirements was him to be killed by him, or something along those lines. We'll probably learn about that in the future. We learned that he seems to have a close friendship with Carlos Medel. We also saw that in the most recent chapter during a flashback between Naden and Carlos. And the final part about Naden mentions again how he reports directly to the head of the worm, and that he was the person closest to the plot among the characters that have appeared so far. So yes, the whole worm thing is the main plot of Kengan Mega based on that statement there. Now I'll cover Dongchen's. His age is 28, which is actually older than what I expected, but it does make sense considering he has 5 mastered Chinese styles under his belt. It mentions that he speaks broken Japanese, which is also mentioned in the recent chapter that I'm going to talk about soon, and that his friendship with Naden was actually, very real, and that he's a veteran fighter of Purgatory, which has been there since the establishment of Purgatory itself. So yeah, that's pretty cool, and we pretty much assumed that in Jorota's flashback when we saw Dongchen, Carlos, and Lo Long, being part of Purgatory when Jorota first joined. So yeah, he's an OG. And the final part just mentions why Dongchen's character profile came up this early, and the reason is because he's Naden's best friend. But yeah, those are the new character profiles. Now onto the chapter. As always, links are posted in the Discord or you can find them on the Reddit. Before I continue, make sure you're subscribed, and if you're an absolute mad lad, check out the other stuff in the description like the Discord and Patreon. Now back to the video. The chapter begins with the title, It's Not About Logic, and it's actually a dream sequence that we learn about after he comes out of it, but it's based in a backstory. So we see Dong and Naden talking to one another. We learn that regardless of Dongchen talking about his father's will, his father's actually still alive, but Dongchen pretty much considers him dead and doesn't really plan on seeing him in this flashback, however. And then we see, or Dongchen sees his father training someone in the flashback there, but we don't actually get to see Dongchen's father right during this chapter. We got Naden mentioning how his dad's pretty skilled, and then Lu Dong's response, well, he is one of the big shots in Taiwanese martial arts world, but unfortunately I was more talented in martial arts than my dad. As long as I can remember, he was making me practice 8 different martial arts at the same time. And he also mentions, are there even 8 days in a week? So yeah, maybe if Dongchen was a Bucky character like Jack, there could be 8 days in a week, but sadly there is not. So pretty much since birth, as we learnt about in a previous chapter, he's been trained in various styles. And it also says, I eventually learned the secret techniques of 5 of those styles. So Dongchen has 5 secret techniques. For some reason, I think his Fajin or his other technique that he's been using to avoid attacks from Nitoki could be part of those secret techniques, or he just has 5 other techniques we haven't seen him pull out so far, and we may get some of those in this chapter, which I'll discuss soon. So we got them walking through his town, talking to one another again. He also mentions that his mother has family members who are big shots in Chinese martial arts, and his father being a big shot in the Taiwanese martial art world, which has eventually made Dongchen a political tool between the Taiwanese martial art world and the Chinese martial art world. And him not wanting to be this political tool for, the struggle of power between old men is why he ended up joining the underground martial arts world and why he ended up joining Purgatory. So yeah, we've got a reason for him. And then he has something pretty dark, but you don't seem so free right now. That's what Naden says. He says, what are you saying, Naden? who doesn't look free, and as he turns around to look at Naden, he just sees darkness, and we see him waking up from the slam that Nitoku had given him last chapter. We see that he was able to get on his feet at a count of 8, so still pretty injured, and we got Nitoku's inner monologue saying he must have, diverted the blow with his Huajin at the moment of impact, otherwise there's no way he should be standing. So that's how he was able to, survive that crazy slam, which, Nitoku thought he would have won by. Dong mentions that he had only known Naden for a year before, his death by the hands of Garaiki, and due to him only speaking broken Japanese, they couldn't really communicate to one another all too well, but regardless, their friendship, surpassed logic, and they were actually best friends. And then we have Dongchen going for a punch with Nitoku trying to, parry it, but Dongchen, as we've seen in previous chapters, is a much better striker compared to Nitoku, is able to overpower him, land various blows, just absolutely dominate him. Then we have Nitoku going for a named punch called the Russian hook, and that's able to land on, Dongchen and send him flying. And then straight away after that, we have, Nitoku trying to get him with a tackle, but we see that, Dongchen was able to use his Hajin again to escape the initial Russian hook from Nitoku. But yeah, he grabs him with the tackle. However, he can't actually move Dongchen, and this is due to a new move we got from Dongchen here called Mabu, which translates on the side here to horse dance. So this is something that counters a tackle from someone like Nitoku, with Nitoku's inner monologue saying he won't budge. What is this stability? So yeah, pretty decent, goofy looking, sus looking panel, but yeah, it's able to counter that. And straight away after, Nitoku fails the tackle, he gets elbowed in the back of the head by Dongchen, and then his elbow leads into a direct kick to the face with, people's shocked faces. We have, I believe, Kano saying the following: Nitoku should still be able to endure those hits with his durability, so Kano is aware of his durability. And then, Oma's response to him: but any more than that is dangerous. So Nitoku is getting close to his limit, but I do like the touch of Kano, coming in saying something about his durability that he probably struggled to overcome in their battle they had prior to the Kengan Industrial Annihilation tournament. We have Dongchen going for another kick, but this one Nitoku was able to block, with Nitoku also thinking about how this is becoming an issue and that he can't keep taking these powerful strikes from Dongchen. And then we have him charging for, I guess, another tackle, but this time Dongchen was way too fast and was able to wrap around on the other side of Nitoku without him even noticing, and to land another attack titled the Shun Kao. I can't really see the English translation on the side here due to the font, but yeah, another name technique is coming from Dongchen here, which seems to be pretty powerful, and that is the final page of the chapter. So as a whole, Nitoku is getting banged up quite a bit during this chapter. It seems that Dongchen has reached his supposed peak or latent potential that the likes of Lo Long and other characters talked about in the previous chapters. So this is, I'm guessing, the peak version of Dongchen, or could be that Nitoku is a lot more injured than what a lot of people initially thought. But we did have Kano saying he should be able to keep on tanking these blows, so I'm not too sure about that. I'm guessing this really is Dongchen's peak, which seems to be activated through the power of friendship with Naden, if I'm being honest. So I'm not too sure how I feel about that. It's a little bit, off-putting if I'm being honest, but yeah, that's kind of how it happened. But yeah, this fight at the current point, I believe, is 50-50. Regardless of Nitoku getting banged up for the majority of this chapter, he was able to land a pretty decent punch, and the slam he was able to land in chapter 112 was probably one of the most powerful and damaging attacks in this fight so far. But yeah, I think there's maybe 1 or 2 chapters remaining of this fight. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. But yeah, that should be everything for today's chapter review. Hope you enjoyed. As always, shout out to the people who support the channel via the Patreon, absolute mad lads. But yeah, that's it guys, peace.